Today, as everybody knows, last day ng filing ng answer ng respondent vice president at nakamonitor din po ang buong prosecutors ng House of Representatives, no? As soon as we receive the answer from the vice president, we will be starting to prepare our reply, which is supposed to be filed within the non-extendable period of 5 days, no? So, sana matapos namin within the week para lahat ng responsive pleadings filed now with the impeachment court. So, after the receipt of the answer and subsequently of the reply, we will be looking forward to the conduct of pre-trial conference, no? Etong pre-trial conference na ito, this is supposed to simplify the presentation of evidence and witnesses which will happen during the trial. To be specific, kapag sinabi nating pre-trial conference, nagsasubmit tayo ng stipulation of facts and then we respond whether to admit or to deny the stipulation of the defense team. We also submit the list of the witnesses and we do the marking also of the exhibits, which will be very, very helpful to us considering that 3 out of 4 articles have voluminous documents to consider, no? Ano itong tatlong articles ng 4 articles of impeachment which entail a lot of documentary evidence. First and foremost is the confidential fund. Second is the bribery. And third is the unexplained wealth, no? So, we look forward to attending the pre-trial conference, which according to news report, ay sa June 15 daw. And after this pre-trial conference, the initial date for trial, again, according to news report, will be on July 6, no? Ang apprehension lang po namin, the prosecution team, while we have these dates coming from news reports, actually wala po tayong official notice about the schedule of pre-trial conference. We have no official information as a matter of fact whether papayagan ba o hindi itong pre-trial conference na ito. And even the first schedule of the trial, wala pa rin po tayong official na notice from the impeachment court. But we look forward that since the Senate already convened the impeachment court, we are positive na magtutuloy-tuloy ito. And in as far as the 11 prosecutors is concerned, kami po ay ready to appear before the impeachment court. As we have shared before, nagkaroon po ng assignment of articles of impeachment. Ito pong 4 articles are being led by one public prosecutor. Like for threat, our team leader is SDML Noy Defensor. For confidential fund, it's now Congressman Joel Chua. Because I yielded to all the team leaders, I will not be leading anymore an article of impeachment, no? For bribery, it is now Congressman Keith Flores, and for unexplained wealth, it is Congressman Terry Ridon. Hanggat hindi po natatapos ang presentation of evidence, please anticipate that there will be changes on the assignment of prosecutors, no? After all, ito po ay exclusive authority ng prosecution to decide on how we will present our evidence, who to present, what to present, and when to present them, no? So right now, full swing po ang aming preparation. We are reading a lot of materials where we have workshops and we do mock trials as well. This is as we approach the schedule, although unofficial, of the pre-trial conference as well as the trial, which will be on June 15 and July 6, respectively. For the 11 prosecutors, rest assured that we are ready to fulfill our mandate under the Constitution. That would be all for my opening statement.
Thank you, Chairperson Luisra. May we hear now from Assistant Majority Leader Cruz.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Kami din po ay nagpapasalamat din sa pagkakataon na amin naman pong mailahad yung pong pangunahin na trabaho namin po bilang mga representante ng aming po mga distrito o ng mga sektor na aming pong nire-represent. At yan po ay yung ating iba't ibang legislative measures. So we are happy and proud to advise all that out of the 52 LEDAC measures ay meron na pong 20 na naipasa na po on third and final reading, and we hope before po tayo mag-adjourn ng ating pong session ay makapagpasa pa po kami ng additional na 6 po na mga priority LEDAC measures, which as you all know ay yung pong priority work plan po na as agreed by the executive at ng legislative. So we're here to entertain any questions on the bills and the measures that we are currently tackling in the plenary and in the various committees po. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you po, Ma'am Cruz. Let us now hear from Assistant Majority Leader Roman, sir.
Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Tulad ng sinabi ni Congresswoman Agay, nandito po kami para sagutin mga tanong tungkol sa bilis o galaw ng mga panukalang batas na nakasalang po sa House of Representatives. Tuloy-tuloy po yung trabaho namin sa mga committee meetings. Kung kino-cover nyo po, maraming nakikita nyo yung tagisan ng mga pananaw. At sa plenaryo po, naging masigasig naman yung mga pag-uusap. Nakakatuwa, last week po, meron ho kaming mga on third reading, 36 ang pumasa, 5 ang national, 31 ang local, at meron hong 29 na panukalang batas na pumasa sa second reading, 8 ang national at 21 ang local. Ang nais po sana namin mangyari bago ho mag-adjourn ay maipasa na on third reading yung 6 na LEDAC measures na pumasa ho ng second reading last week. So tuloy lang po yung aming trabaho. Yung po aming mandato sa ilalim na batas ay maging mambabatas, kaya ang panukat po sa amin yung dami po at ganda po ng mga panukalang batas na isinusulong namin. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir. We will now open the floor for questions. Let us hear from Haji Camino from Brigada for the first question. Haji?
Good morning po, Kongs. First, on the impeachment po muna kay Kong Jinky. May private prosecutors na po, Chair.
As I have said before, we have more than enough private prosecutors, only that we are not yet done finalizing as to who will be entering their appearance as private prosecutors and who will be working as part of our legal and research team, no? So, to your question, yes, we have in fact a huge number of private prosecutors. All of them are on a voluntary basis, and that is why we are grateful, we are thankful to all these private lawyers who are really offering help to the public prosecutors. Please bear with us as we cannot announce yet the list of our private prosecutors as we still continue to assess who will be joining the trial and who will be joining the preparation of the public prosecutors.
Ma'am, although wala pa po kayong formal notice whether it's July 6 na nga po yung trial proper, but there were calls po kasi na i-reconsider yung date, lalo't meron po ngayong kinreate na subcommittee on the flood control controversy ang Senado. O baka daw po matakpan yung o mailihis daw po yung usapin ng impeachment.
May we know kung saan nanggagaling yung calls to reconsider the date of July 6?
I think one of the trial spokespersons, Kong Zia, parang nanawagan na i-reconsider man lang.
Well, my reaction to that is, let us remember that the mandate of the Constitution, that is to be forthwith, is not only with respect to convening the impeachment court. It says trial forthwith. In other words, by trial, we mean presentation of evidence, presentation of witnesses. If ever there will be changes to July 6, it should be earlier and not later. That is if our intention is to respond to the mandate of the Constitution, which says trial forthwith.
Okay. I'll let others na lang po do the follow-up on impeachment. But to Kong Miro na lang po siguro, can you walk us through po dun sa context ng Kalinga in layman's term and gaano po kahalaga yung measure po na ito para sa taong bayan? Paano po siya mararamdam? Thank you po.
Maraming salamat. Pasensya na rin kanina sa opening. Sabi kasi sa akin ako yung mag-opening. Kaya nandito nga pala si Boss Ryan. Yung siguro magandang paglilinaw dun sa Kalinga Bill, hindi tama na i-describe siya as simple as an ayuda program because it is not. Ang Kalinga Bill ay sa pangarap at pagmimiti ni Speaker Bogie D tsaka ni Majority Leader Sandro Marcos. Ang gusto natin dito makreate isang framework na kung saan ang gobyerno ay nagkakaroon ng framework within which paano siya magre-react each time nagkakaroon ng oil price surge or crisis. Kasi alam natin na hindi ito ngayon lang mangyayari. Nakikita-kita natin ito na as long as the Philippines remains 100% import dependent on oil, maapektuhan talaga tayo tuwing nagkakaroon ng pagsirit ng presyo ng langis. So, nagre-create tayo ng framework dahil gusto natin meron ng step 1, step 2, step 3 ang gobyerno each time nangyayari ang krisis na ito. Nagdadala ito ng tatlong bagay. Una, nagdadala ito ng malinaw na mga hakbangin pagdating sa kung ano yung mga steps na dapat kinukuha para hindi kalat-kalat ang activities ng gobyerno. Meaning, ang focus talaga natin dito is hindi ito parang COVID na lahat ng tao ay may problema. Ito ay supply issue lang. Ibig sabihin, langis lang ang may problema, paano natin kokontrolin ito such that hindi siya makaapekto ng presyo ng bilihin ng mamamayan kasi kaya. So that is the first framework in terms of controlling inflation. Pangalawa, sinisigurado natin na yung framework na yon ay very consistent at hindi siya subject to pamumulitika. Ibig sabihin, kung meron tayong tina-target na mga beneficiaries, nakatarget talaga siya dun sa unang naapektuhan. First, are employees or sectors affected by fuel. So transportation ito, energy-related na gumagamit directly ng mahal na bilihin ng langis. At pangalawa po is yung paano kontrolin ito para hindi maapektuhan naman yung presyo ng pagkain. So kaya ang second sector really is yung agriculture sector. So inaatasan under sa Kalinga ang pamahalaan na magkaroon na ng ready list of beneficiaries base sa objectives sa ito para hindi na naghahanap pa ng listahan, dumodoble listahan, nanggagaling sa kapitan, sa mayor, sa congressman, sa senador, governor, hindi na ganon. So merong fixed set of beneficiaries for that given objectives para insulated siya sa politika at namimit natin yung specific target which is essentially to control prices even in the event magkaroon ng matinding pagtaas ng presyo ng langis. At ang pangatlong framework is kung paano tayo mas lilihis na sa oil-dependent economy. So nakalagay din dun sa Kalinga Bill, ano yung mga steps na ating kailangan gawin so that we become less dependent on oil. So we are talking about tax incentives for employers or companies na nagkakaroon ng solarization, o kaya renewable source of energy, hindi na galing sa power plants lang na galing sa diesel. Pangalawa, employers din na nagpapautang pagdating sa car loans na ang patungkol ay electric vehicles. Binibigyan din natin ng incentives At yung pagtulak din sa pamahalaan na kung maaari halos lahat dapat ng kanyang sasakyan ay magiging electric vehicle ang kanilang mga sasakyan para hindi na tayo masyadong naapektuhan pagdating po sa pagsirit ng presyo ng langis. So, totoo, maraming aspeto doon yung iba't ibang ayuda sa iba't ibang sektor. From the ordinary employee, from the middle class, agriculture sector, fisher folk, pagdating po sa minimum wage, pagdating sa lower middle class, lahat po nandun. MSMEs, nandun po lahat. Pero kagyat lang siya or it's really in consonance with the bigger framework which is to make the economy more resilient such that if the oil price high crisis happens again, we are more ready. And more importantly, what it does is it gives businessmen and the economy confidence. So kapag alam ng ekonomiya na ang gobyerno ay merong framework how to respond, mas nawawalan ng uncertainty. And uncertainty is the number one driver of increase in prices of commodities. Pag walang katiyakan. So, yun ang pinakamabigat na epekto ng batas na ito kaya kinakailangan dahil it really brings confidence so that people who participate in our economy, especially businessmen, alam nila na hindi sila dapat magpanic. So, yun ang essentially purpose talaga ng Kalinga Bill.
LEDAC measures? And lastly, would you like to call for, kumbaga, or appeal for unity amidst the tensions na po politically sa Senate para sa priority legislation?
Sasagutin ko yung tanong mo. Sa Senado, meron sila mga LEDAC measures na naipasa na. Babanggitin ko isa-isa. Take out your pencils and paper. Lilistan nyo, no? Yung resetting ng BARM elections, yung National Center for Geriatric Health, amendments to the government assistance to students and teachers in private education. Nasa BICAM na po yan. Yung amendments to the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education under BICAM din. Assistance to individuals in crisis situations, AICS, under BICAM din. Yung right to information na kakapasa lang po sa third reading. For third reading this week, ano? At saka yung classroom building acceleration. At yung pangwalo, yung citizens access and disclosure of expenditures for national accountability o kadena. Yan po yung mga panukalang batas na naaprubahan sa Senado.
Siguro dagdag ko lang doon, base sa karanasan ko, nung time ni Speaker Belmonte, mas marami kaming naipapasa noon na because meron talaga kaming formal structure na binuo, yung joint legislative leadership, ang tawag namin doon ay Joint Legislative Leadership Caucus, na binubuo ng Speaker of the House, Senate President, Majority Leader of both Houses, Minority Leader of both Houses, yung Chairman ng Finance Committee nila, at saka yung Chairman ng Finance at saka Ways and Means ng House. Na nagmi-meet yun every month para ilatag kung ano yung mga bills sa pwede na natin talakayin at the same time. Siguro ito isang bagay para mas maraming magawa over the next 2 years. Na-recall ko, kasama dun si Senate President Alan Peter kasi nakaupo ako nun. He was the majority leader then. So familiar siya dun sa structure na yun. Maganda yun para mas mapabilis yung pagpasa ng priority measures.
Sige, just to add lang din po, there are several measures already under conference committee sa Senado. And kami syempre, we always look forward, lahat kami ng mga members ng from the House of Representatives to meet with our counterparts so that we can harmonize po the possible different versions of the bill. Syempre, as always, gaya po ng sinabi ni Sir Haji, we call also for cooperation and unity para marami pa po tayong mga maipasa po ng mga batas na makakatulong po sa ating mga kababayan.
Haji, are you okay? if there are no additional comments from our resource persons, we'll move on to Roscas from UNTV.
Good noon po, Kongs. Kay Representative Luistro po, hanggang 7 p.m. po yung ibinibigay na deadline kay VP Duterte para po mag-file ng kanyang answer sa articles of impeachment. If ever po na isubmit niya yung kanyang answer, ano po ang reaction ng House Prosecution Panel?
Well, we will be welcoming the answer of the Vice President, no? Remember, ang mga allegation of offenses in the current articles of impeachment is almost similar to the allegation of offenses in the articles of impeachment back in the 19th Congress. Suffice it to say, ang tagal na po na naghihintay ng taong bayan ng kasagutan ng ating Vice Presidente. And even us, the 11 prosecutors, are looking forward to see the answers of the Vice President to this allegation of offenses. So for us, itong araw na ito, finally, makikita na natin ang kasagutan ng ating Vice Presidente. Let us recall that during the Justice Committee proceeding, wala po tayong nakuhang responsive answer to the allegations of offenses. Those which were alleged in their answer are all constitutional issues which are still pending before the Supreme Court, no? Ang gusto po sana namin, which I believe ito rin ang inaasahan ng taong bayan, yung mismong kasagutan sa usapin ng threat, kasagutan sa usapin ng misuse of confidential fund, kasagutan dito sa usapin ng unexplained wealth and non-disclosure to SALN, at yung kasagutan din sa usapin ng bribery. Ang gusto po sana natin, answer which respond directly, totoong tumutugon sa mga aligasyon na nilalaman ng articles of impeachment. And we believe na maging ang taong bayan ay matagal nang hinihintay ang kasagutan ng Vice Presidente.
Alright. Nung 19th Congress po kasi, sabi nyo nga po kanina, almost similar po yung complaint nung 19th Congress at saka ngayong 20th Congress. Does that mean, are you expecting a different answer from the camp of the Vice President?
We are hoping for a different answer, no? Kung babalikan nyo yung answer dun sa first impeachment complaint 19 Congress at saka yung answer sa Justice Committee dito sa current impeachment process, hindi na nagkakalayo. All issues of due process, constitutional questions, no? This time around, we are hoping na finally makita natin ano ang paliwanag ng Vice Presidente sa mga aligasyon na noon pang 19th Congress ay hinihintay na ng taong bayan.
What if ganun pa rin po ang response, questioning the process, the impeachment process in the House of Representatives? Ano pong magiging tugon nyo po? I-maximize nyo po rin po ba yung deadline?
To the allegations of offenses, no? And our reaction to that will be to respond by way of reply to their answer and look forward to the conduct of the pre-trial conference and ultimately trial. Ang matagal na pong hinihintay ng taong bayan ay ang makita ang bawat ebidensya na sumusuporta sa mga aligasyon laban sa Vice Presidente, at ito naman po ay mandato ng konstitusyon. So I hope magtuloy-tuloy na po at dumating na po tayo sa presentation of evidence, which is the meaning of trial. Pag sinabi natin pong trial, ilalatag na ang mga ebidensya. And on the basis of the presentation of that evidence, of course, the senator judges will be rendering judgment. And by judgment, dalawa lang po yan. It's either conviction or acquittal. Our rule does not provide for remand. Our rule does not provide for dismissal. Our rule does not provide for clarification. Dalawa lamang po ang nakasaad sa rules of impeachment ng Senado. It is either conviction or acquittal, wala na pong iba.
Expect po yung reply niyo po hanggang sa June 8, i-maximize niyo po ba yung
I
deadline?
am inclined to file the reply until Friday. We're given 5 days from receipt of answer. So if today the answer will be received, the 5th day is supposed to be Saturday. And under the rule, if it is weekend or holiday, it should be the next working day. So ang 5th day namin or last day should be Monday, no? Monday next week, no? But I am inclined to file it within the week.
Okay. Kung yung inabot na po sana sa inyo, impeachment trial calendar, yan na po ba yun?
Narinig kayo kung
Sige po, bigyan po muna namin kayo ng time para magbasahin niyo po yan. Later na lang po. Thank you po.
the the timeline that is provided in this document is actually almost the same nung naririnig natin sa news report. June 15 for pre-trial conference, no? Where we are supposed to submit also our pre-trial brief, no? Yung pre-trial brief po, parehas magsasubmit ang prosecution at saka ang defense. This is supposed to include our stipulations, list of witnesses, marking of documents, and whatever position we want to manifest before the start of the trial should be written there. No, in between the pre-trial conference and the issuance of pre-trial order, doon po dapat mangyari yung marking of exhibits, no? Kung lahat ng concerns during pre-trial ay ma-address, then the impeachment court is supposed to issue a pre-trial order. At ito pong pre-trial order na ito, this is binding to both the prosecution and to the defense, which means ito po ang masusunod during the trial. We cannot deviate from what is written in the pre-trial order issued by the impeachment court. Because I'm not sure if this is official. Is this official? Okay, regardless of the timeline na naririto, I am more concerned about the official notice which we're supposed to receive from the impeachment court. To this date, wala pa po kaming natatanggap na official notice. I am amenable to this because this timeline is consistent with the period for filing answer, period for filing reply, the conduct of pre-trial conference, but of course that July 6, if ever it will be reconsidered, it should be earlier and not later.
Thank you, Rose. We now recognize Marisol Abdurrahman from GMA7.
with what's happening now at the Senate, you have apprehension that it might affect the impeachment, lalo't nabanggit ka kanina ni Haji, sasabay pa siya sa investigation ng Senate Blue Ribbon.
Of course, there are always apprehensions, but nonetheless, liwanagin natin. Ang constitutional duty ng House is to present the evidence. Deciding on this impeachment trial is a judgment that rests upon the senator judges. Even the conduct of the trial is a duty that belongs to the Senate. That's why I am reiterating ready ang 11 prosecutors to appear. Kung kailan man ito mag-umpisa, we hope soon. As a matter of fact, we have concluded the process here in the House of Representatives. In as far as the House is concerned, we've been responding strictly to our constitutional mandate, no? And we intend to continue responding to the same even during the trial. And we look forward na sana itong mga dates na lumalabas sa media, the June 15 pre-trial conference, the July 6 first schedule of trial, sana magtuloy-tuloy na because this is what the mandate, constitutional mandate provides.
No less than the sister of the president, na Noel. Do you share the same thoughts na parang diversionary tactic lang daw ito sa impeachment?
Yes, that is just a diversionary tactic, no? As a matter of fact, wala ngang discussion dito about the no election eh, 'di ba? So, our focus is simple. Legislation on the priority measures and preparation for the impeachment. Yung mga pronouncement ni Senator Amy, I don't know where she got that, but in as far as I am concerned, because I can speak only for myself, wala pong mga ganyang discussion dito sa House of Representatives.
Kong Miro, do you want to comment? Okay. We'll call now El Tobias from IBC 13.
Sound. Grounded lang po. Congresswoman and other congressmen and congresswomen, thank you for the panel today. Ma'am, asking this with all candor kasi may nakatutok ang publiko sa nangyayari sa Senado. Sound check. As I said, ma'am, I'm asking this with all candor. Hindi naman na po kasi sekreto na may mangyayaring impeachment trial pero few of the senators now face criminal cases. Most of which touches the same striking nature of corruption, which is the vice president is being impeached for. My question po is, how do you gauge the moral ascendancy of these senators facing criminal charges touching corruption to vote with clear conscience in favor of accountability, ma'am?
Meron tayong famous legal principle. Actually, this is a constitutional right, no? The presumption of innocence until the contrary is proved beyond reasonable doubt. So regardless of the controversies surrounding members of the majority bloc, I still defer to their judgment in as far as the impeachment trial is concerned, no? We express our faith and confidence not only to the members of the majority but all the senator judges because we appreciate the fact that if prosecution is a constitutional duty, hearing this impeachment case is likewise a constitutional duty on the part of the senator judges.
Thank you, ma'am. Follow up po. Last year, the 215 number in the House is already an overwhelming majority for us. But this year, it got 257 or 258 kung makakaboto po kayo. That's a striking number. Sabi nga po ng mga spokesperson ninyo, it represents almost the entire Philippines. But in the Senate, ma'am, sabi po ng mga legal analysts, mga batikan na sa larangan na nakakausap namin mga reporters ng mga karaang linggo, meron tayong impeachment trial na nakukulayan kahit hindi pa nagsisimula just because of their obvious loyalty to under any political family. But how confident are you, ma'am, na katulad na nangyari sa House ngayon, the Senate will be moved and the freshly printed paper of your evidences will cut deep enough to the conscience of the senator judges?
We can only speak in as far as the House of Representatives is concerned, no? They are the one, the impeachment court is the one which is in control of the impeachment trial. But let me remind the public that the sovereign Filipino people is keenly observing what is happening, no? Including everything that is happening in the Senate, no? So I hope that all of us will be very much conscious and sensitive in responding to our constitutional mandate, no? This is a constitutional process, a power that was given to the sovereign Filipino people. We are here only to represent the interest of the Filipino people, and I believe that this should happen because this is a mandate of transparency and accountability in the Constitution.
Last question from my end po. On a recent Okta Research survey, ma'am, sent this morning lang po, said the support for Senate impeachment trial rose from 69% in March to 74% this April. Position highest in Mindanao at 41%, but in total, ma'am, 74% of the Filipinos said yes for the impeachment trial. Your reaction po?
Well, we welcome that survey, no? It only validates what we believe is the demand of the Filipino people now. At nakikita naman natin yon in what is happening around, na ang gusto talaga ng taong bayan ay magtuloy-tuloy itong impeachment trial. And this is what accountability mechanism is all about. So we're happy and we welcome that 74% survey in favor of holding the impeachment trial.
Thank you, Earl. Kenneth Basilio from Philippine Daily Inquirer. Please proceed.
Yun, hello. Magandang tanghali po. Yung question ko po para kay Kong Jinky po, impeachment related. Ma'am, how will the prosecution panel reply to Vice President Duterte's response if she ever files a response? If she again seeks a dismissal of the case, as what happened last year?
Definitely, if there will be move or request towards the dismissal of the impeachment complaint, i-oppose namin yon. I said it earlier that the Senate rules on impeachment does not speak about dismissal. The rules neither speak about remand nor about clarification. Ang sinasabi lamang po ng Senate rules on impeachment, trial. And after trial, the judgment is either conviction or acquittal. So to your question, kung may motion to dismiss or if the allegations are tantamount to a motion to dismiss, we will definitely oppose that.
Okay po. The Vice President has emerged as a top contender po for the presidency in 2028. Does she possess po ba the traits or qualities expected of a presidentiable?
That is why impeachment trial should happen. Because considering that she has pronounced already her intention to run for president in 2028, this impeachment trial will help the sovereign Filipino decide whether or not she deserves the faith and confidence of the electorate.
In your opinion po, is she fit to be president given the corruption issues, constitutional violation issues hounding her? She was impeached twice over already. What do you think, does that speak of her fitness to be the president?
Well, we understand that we've been expressing about the strong articles of impeachment against the vice president. I have reservation in as far as the defense is concerned. Wala pa tayong nakita even a single piece of their evidence. Wala pa tayong narinig even a single response to the allegations of offenses. So, to your question, I cannot answer that until and unless I've seen the defense presented by the Vice President.
Last question po. You are now the lead prosecutor po for the impeachment trial. Are you somehow motivated na nga rin beyond accountability measures na nga rin, are you motivated to present the case to help the Filipino public to adjudge if Vice President Duterte is fit to be president? Thank you.
I am not simply motivated. I am bound by my constitutional duty. As I've been saying, this is not a question of choice. Hindi po ito issue ng gusto ba namin o ayaw namin. We have no choice as a matter of fact. Because by constitutional duty, our option is only to proceed.
Are there any additional comments from our resource persons? Okay, kung wala, we will call Marian Enriquez from TV5.
Good afternoon po. Chair Luis, you mentioned po last week, I guess, na 25 na po yung mga testigo po na nasa inyong listahan, including hostile witnesses. Kasama po ba dito, no, na iniimbitahan natin during the 19th Congress din na lumabas sina Attorney Powa, Reynold Monsayak, and even Attorney Zulaika Lopez?
I cannot comment to that yet. The least I can say, we are considering to move for the issuance of subpoena to some officials of DepEd and OVP. But as to who these officials are, we cannot disclose them yet.
Kung hindi po nawawala rin yung ugong ng kudeta sa Senado, no? Yung possibility po na magkaroon ng change po sa leadership. Paano po yung nakikita yung epekto nito, lalo na kung ito pong lumabas na nakita nating schedule is, from yung current ngayon na leadership?
Well, ang sa akin naman, so long as hindi madidelay ang impeachment trial, it is not really a concern as to who are in the majority and who are in the minority, who will be presiding and who will not be presiding, no? I think the mandate of the Constitution is clear, trial forthwith. It does not speak about the change of leadership or the preference with respect to the presiding officer. And let us remember, constitutional duty ito. So regardless of the situation in the Senate, I hope that they will be conscious and responding to this mandate.
Sa inyo na rin po lahat na Kongs who want to answer, would you like to comment po doon sa force majeure remarks po ni Senator Robin Padilla? And kanina po, naglabas pa po siya ng bago na namang statement. He even said na iba talaga yung pangangatwiran ng Genius, highest level ng pagkapiloso po. Sakali niyo na lang itanong ko si Senator Bato ay ayaw ba magtrabaho o hindi pinapayagan makapagtrabaho?
Yeah, I've always, I think it's not appropriate for us to make any comments on how the Senate conducts its self, in the same way that we expect them to respect how we conduct ourselves too. So we leave it to the better judgment of the senators.
Last na lang po from my end. Kung Miro, I understand you were also part of the House prosecution spokesperson. Spokes po kayo before during the Corona trial. Will natap po ba kayo to help with the panel, the prosecution panel?
I think everyone in Congress has been asked to participate because, as mentioned by Kong Jinky, by Chairman Jinky, is that this is really a constitutional duty. So, in particular, I think today the House has already chosen the best prosecutors that can be, and the best individuals who can speak on behalf. So they need very little help from all of us. But obviously, like I said, it's a constitutional duty, so we will pitch in whatever way we can. But frankly, from what we see already and how they're performing, they don't really need much help from us anymore.
Natap din po ba kayo to be spokes or,
Thank you, Ms. Marian. Actually, as I want to echo yung sinabi po ni Chair Kimbo, no, I think yung team na nabuo, they are already well-versed. Nakapag-aral na po sila. On our part po, kasi hindi lamang naman po impeachment ang focus na gusto natin. Kami bilang part po ng Rules Committee, yun naman po ang assignment namin. Tutukan namin yung mga priority legislation, sundan po namin to make sure din po that bills that are important para po sa ating mga kababayan ay maipasa po namin. Especially, tutok po talaga kami sa lahat ng mga LEDAC measures para at least bago po mag-break, marami na pong accomplishments ang maire-report po ang House of Representatives.
Okay, we will take questions from Jill Sibandal of Billionario.
Check. Hello, Kongs. Good day po. Na-mention po kanina ni Kong Luistro about the people. Gusto daw po ng sambayan ng Pilipino na malaman yung nasa loob ng impeachment trial. But we wanted to know po your reaction because nananatili pong mataas yung latest SWS survey po ni Vice President Sara Duterte compared to the -15 dissatisfaction rate ni PBBM. So ano po yung reaction niyo po about dito?
Well, for me, it only shows that even those people who believe with the vice president are very much interested to know what is this impeachment trial, what this impeachment trial would bring, no? Kasi this is not just a concern of those who are against her. This is also a concern of those who are supporting her. Because remember, this impeachment trial have two possible scenarios. It's either conviction or acquittal. And by acquittal, the process will be able to clean the vice president from all the allegations against her, no? So, how to reconcile that, the trust rating of the vice president with the 74% who are in favor of the impeachment trial? This is my opinion. I believe that even those who supports the vice president wanted this impeachment to clean her from all the allegations.
Thank you, Jill. Bibian Gulia from ABS-CBN2.
Good afternoon, Kong Jervil. Hi. Ma'am, earlier you mentioned that there are apprehensions amid the developments in the Senate. Can you specify lang po ano-ano po yung apprehensions na ito?
Apprehensions like what happened in the first impeachment back in 19 Congress, no? When it was remanded to the House of Representatives, and then later it was archived, and then ultimately it was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, no? Having that kind of experience during the first impeachment process, because I was part already of the prosecution team during that time. Of course, I cannot remove those apprehensions concerning the current impeachment process.
Do you see this possibly happening this time around again?
Possibility. Of course, we're acknowledging the possibility, but we are inclined to be more positive and forward-looking this time. Dahil nag-convene na naman ang impeachment court, they are considering some dates about pre-trial conference and trial. So, we wanted to believe na tuloy-tuloy na ito.
And then meron pong, as mentioned earlier, merong mga cases na kinakaharap po yung ilang senator judges. How do you see this affecting the conduct of the trial? Dalawa po so far.
Well, for me, I do not consider those cases against the senator judges as related in any way to this impeachment proceeding. Iba yun, no? Those are separate and distinct from this impeachment process. And as I have said, they have constitutional right to be presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. So, yung aming pagkilala sa mga senator judges, whether or not they have pending cases, should be the same, no? We express again our faith and confidence to all of them as the senator judges of this upcoming impeachment trial.
Yes, ma'am. But in terms of the numbers, kasi syempre, kailangan ng 16 votes to convict, 13 to have a quorum to hold trial. May epekto po ba ito?
Well, of course, alam natin yon na 16 ang kailangan to get a conviction, no? But that is beyond our duty already. As far as we are concerned, our constitutional duty is to present evidence. And it is for the senator judges to decide whether to acquit or to convict. But let us remind the public, we are aware that the sovereign Filipino people will be keenly observing what will be happening in this impeachment trial. And for us in the prosecution, we are aware that we are likewise responsible to the Filipino people in the same way that the senator judges will be responsible with regards to the decision that they will be making to this impeachment trial, no? We will be presenting evidence, and the decision of the senator judges should be aligned to the evidence that was presented or which will be presented by the prosecution. If the evidence is strong and the decision is acquittal, I think the Filipino people will be minding that because they are interested as well in this impeachment trial.
And then clarification on the target date of submission ng prosecution, ito pong answer to the, or reply to the Vice President's answer. Will it be accurate to say that the prosecution will submit reply ahead of the June 8 deadline? But Friday, you mentioned Friday kasi ma'am, I wonder if may office po ba ang Senate ng Friday, or do you target to submit it on Thursday?
Holiday ba sa Friday? Oh. Well, the least I can say, deadline for reply is June 8. Pero kung kakayanin, I would want it to be submitted earlier, possibly this week.
And then without naming the private prosecutors, can we know kung ilan po yung target ng prosecution na number of private prosecutors na i-enter sa Senate?
I cannot tell that yet, no? Kasi we're still evaluating, assessing the need for private prosecutors in as far as entering appearance is concerned.
Last question po sa ating House Assistant Majority Leaders. Yung relationship between the Senate minority and majority, last week we saw that the lack of quorum led to well, may mga nag-walk out, etc. So how do you see that affecting our LEDAC priority measures? Are you optimistic na kaya po itong matapos?
I wish. Sana maitawid natin yung mga LEDAC measures. I mean, these are circumstances that the public is keenly observing. I hope it doesn't stand in the way of work. We have to remember at all times we have to keep work at the center, and center is and work is really legislation. So there are LEDAC measures for a reason, because they're a priority of the executive and the legislature. So with a meeting of the minds as to the importance of these bills, and so it's incumbent on both chambers to actually push legislation to make sure they're enacted.
Same, charot. Hindi, opo. So sana po, maging, para lang po medyo light tayo, no? Siyempre, lahat din po tayo nakaabang. At we trust po na our leaders will find a way para ma-resolve din po nila yung mga kaganapan po sa Senado. At syempre kami po ay handa na laging makipagtulungan po sa ating mga senador.
Ako is confident ako na pinakita ng House that we can perform both our constitutional duty relative to the impeachment and at the same time our given mandate, our main mandate, which is to pass the legislation o mga batas sa kinakailangan talaga ng taong bayan, na ipakita namin na kaya namin ipagsabay yon. So, sa tingin naman din namin sa nakaraan is that the Senate has always been able to carry out and deliver its mandate. So, nagtitiwala kami na kung base sa kasaysayan at base na rin sa nagagawa namin dito, ay magagawa din nilang magampanan yung legislative functions ng Senado. despite whatever situation that it may be going through, I think that the Senate has always come to fore and has always been able to establish that it can carry out these twin mandates.
Thank you, Vivian. From Net 25, Eden Santos is now recognized.
Kung Luistro, nabanggit niyo po kanina na you have faith and confidence sa mga senator judges. Does it mean po ba na walang mga panawagan na mag-inhibit yung mga senator na yung killing ay kay BP Sara?
We will not be doing that because we recognize their prerogative to participate and decide on this impeachment trial. If ever there will be inhibition, definitely it will not come from us. I don't know where it will come from.
Pero pwede pong magpa-inhibit if in case, hindi lang sa inyo manggagaling.
Well, I don't know because this is a constitutional duty. I don't think that inhibition will be proper here.
From 1 to 10 po, gaano tayo ka-confident na makuha natin dito sa impeachment trial ay conviction kung sinasabi ninyo na may dalawang senaryo nga, either ma-convict or ma-acquit.
Hindi po natin masasagot yan hanggat hindi po natin nakikita ang ebidensya ng depensa. Remember, wala pa po tayong naririnig na sagot na tumutugon talaga dun sa allegation of offenses. In the same way, wala pa po tayo nakikita ni katiting na ebidensya galing po sa defense team.
But based on your own evidence, hindi po ba kayo confident na ma-convict ang BP?
You know, in a trial, it is always two-way. May prosecution at meron ding defense. We need to see the defense.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Eden. Before we conclude, are there any remaining or final questions from the media? If none, we will hear the closing remarks of our resource persons. Jinky.
Tingin ko naman ang pinapakita sa araw na ito, especially sa last week ng regular session ng 20th Congress, ay pinapakita ng House of Representatives sa pangunguna at pamumuno ni Speaker Bogie D na kaya naming gampanan yung iba't ibang functions na ipinapataw sa amin ng saligang batas. Patuloy kaming inaararo ang lupa para lumabas ang mga tamang tanim pagdating sa legislation at nakikita natin na for various issues na talagang kinakailangan ma-address, whether in terms of the economy, whether in terms of yung karapatan ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan, transparency and accountability ay ginagawa namin. Yet at the same time, ginagawa rin yung constitutional duty pagdating sa Article 11, Section 2 ng Saligang Batas on impeachment. So, yun ang tingin ko parang gusto nating mai-report sa taong bayan na you have a functioning and working Congress at regardless of how many things that will be going on at the same time, we will never shirk and we will never shy away from our responsibility and carrying this out, especially under the leadership of Speaker Bogie D. So,